Welcome creative friends, Edna Eady here from The Creativity Activist. I'm coming at you today with a loaded heart pocket. I made one of these as part of my secret Cupid swap this year, and I thought it might be fun to make a few more to send out in the world as part of my 80 Things project. So as part of that, I thought I'd do a little demo on how I bring the pocket together and show you the makes. So this is one of the makes, fully loaded. I'll take you through those, but in general terms, I made 3 heart pockets and I put them together and stuffed them with things that I've brought together for each of the recipients. I have used a couple of dangles that were gifted to me as part of the secret Cupid swap last year, so I thought this was the right time to share those with the world. I've been looking at them all year, and I've used a mixed collection, so just basic card for the actual construction, and then mixed collections. I did buy a whole stack of Valentine collections when Beck was doing a D-stash earlier in the year. So this is from La La Love, which is one of my all-time never owned it favorite collections. So the peachy pinky colors of that collection tended to suit the tomato red that I chose. And then within each of the pockets are little pockets themselves. So this has some charms inside, and I made little bag toppers. This is using the KS Crafts basic bag topper. So using bits and pieces, this is really a mixed collection one. Lots of fun and easy to fold over a little pocket just to fit in there. Some love notes, and then a little pin. So I used this pin because I used the little speech bubble like on the make itself. This is another of the bag toppers decorated up. I have also throughout the make used a stack of border dies from KS Craft. These are all flat lays in just a little packet, and I've just stuck it on the angle there to make it easy. And then a little pair of heart scissors, and then in the top pocket some pink pencils, which I've just simply tied with a ribbon. Might start putting those over there. I have recently acquired some new things to bead, and this is one of them. It's a little blade, and then you bead up the top. I did use gold with this collection and silver with the other two, so I used gold in the little beading make there. That was heaps of fun to do. I'd never made one of those before. Some more love notes, and then the pinkest Mars bar I could find. And I did make a sequin mix to suit each. This is a really chunky sequin mix. The only thing I will say, as you can see just there, is I very mistakenly mixed in a random bit of pinkness right at the end that had snowmen in it. So it's a snowman's Valentine's Day pink and gold mix. Love the mix itself. And then you can see at the back there that I've put in one of these Swedish cloths. I did buy a pack of these to use for these makes, so that was a nice way to bring some height to the back. But if we just take that out, you can see I've used the Ric Rac dies in different orientations. This one, pink and aqua and gold. And then just choosing all sorts of random things, adding lots of height. Mixing chipboard, little Rosie Studio hearts. Great way to use up all the bits and bobs that you've been hanging around with. And then the heart itself just expands out to that heart pocket. So I'm just going to demo that build today. So let's get on to that. First of all, I did use Basil cardstock. You can use any cardstock you like. I didn't do this on purpose, but they do fit on one sheet of the Basil cardstock, noting that you'll cut 2 because you want a back and a front to the heart. You could also use card on the back and pattern paper on the front, or all pattern paper, just depending on the size. Now to make these, I just traced around a die that I already had for the smallest one, and then I went up. I just freehanded it and made the template. Went up a couple of centimeters around that one, and then traced that one and went around another couple of centimeters. If anybody wants these templates, I'd be happy to scan them and send them out to you. So you can see that fits on one 12 by 12, which is nice. It means that you can trace them out. I just use a ballpoint pen, trace around the template. I don't go to the trouble of pencils and rubbing out. I just do a ballpoint pen and then I cut on the inside of that line. So I trace them all out and then I just get to cutting. So I've prepared a couple. So these ones I've already cut out and started to decorate. But this one, the smallest one, I thought I'd show that on camera today. So you can see I just have these little clips. You can see there's two pieces of the card there. This is basil, so it is rough on one side. So just make sure your outside over there is the same. And then it's just a case of bringing it together and trusting your fussy cutting skills on camera. This could be interesting. All right, so that is very firm and just going up and on the inside of that line. Now, this doesn't have to be a perfect science, but you do want your back and your front pieces to match. So when I'm going around the edge, I do always put the clip where I've been as well, because it stabilizes where you've been. And I use the fussy cutting rule of moving the paper more than you do the actual cutting implement, so the scissors in this case, and then following that rule of stabilizing where you've been, I'll come back to that center piece normally, following that around in real time, stabilize and keep going. So just cutting on the inside of that line, and then I always come back to that center from the place where I can see with my scissors where I'm cutting, and then you get that perfect cut in the middle. So then you have your two pieces cut perfectly. And then I just take my trusty all-purpose glue. I normally have this on a mat. I measure down about 2 centimeters from there and go over and say, I want the glue to be here, and I just bead the glue around the edge just like that. And then I just gently push that together. Similarly on this side, you do want this dot and where you're coming in here to be pretty much, just going to go up there a little bit because I've now, to be pretty much the same. So your finish points on your glue to be pretty much the same. And you can have them as low or as high as you like, but I've found that measurement tends to work perfectly for me. And then I just give it a little bit of a rub just to make sure that the glue is secure, and if anything is going to ooze out, it oozes out now, because you don't want there to be any bubbles. And then I've used the Ric Rac dies to cut up a stack of die cuts just in the colours that I'm using or have used throughout the make, and I'm just putting a little bit of glue and going on and off the edge there, just like that. I tend to think if you use at least 2 colours and a neutral, which in this case my silver is my neutral, you will never fail with this technique. And you cut off bits from the larger passes on the bigger hearts, and I tend to save those to use on the smaller ones, just to get the biggest bang for your buck out of all that die cutting that takes so long to do. You don't need too much glue on those, you just need to make sure it's going to adhere. And it's as simple as dressing that up. I do think it's nice, given you're going to put a lot of colour, or potentially a lot of colour in your stuffed items, to use a plain background, but you do you. So once they're dry, I generally will come from behind and just snip off that excess. And then the bits that are worth keeping, I obviously keep, so that you've got that. You can see here, it doesn't matter in the middle here. You can have things that finish off a little early because you won't see those down in the center there. All right, this is probably dry enough. Let's just trust the process. Go around. You can see there's still some glue on there, but it'll be fine. And if you cut from the back, it's always a good idea just to go to the front and just make sure that it is nice and neat and tidy there. All right, that is it. That's how the little hearts come together. So if you make 3 of those, you don't have to decorate them before you put them together. The first time I did it, I did not do that. You can see here I've also pre-planned and put a little eyelet in here. You also don't need to do that. But you do need to understand that the process for putting them together is simply a line of glue down the center here, but on the back side. So I do like to line them all up just to make sure I know where they're all going to go. And then I start on the top, and then it is simply a line of glue in the center here. And it's like 40 degrees here today, and the top of the glue is dried out already. It's a bit sad, but that's life. So just a little line of glue down the center, and then holding it in place atop the heart that's directly underneath it, and just getting that traction there. So the main connection point that needs to line up is just the bottom of the heart there. And then you just repeat that process on the next heart. Give it a little bit of a press down. And then for this one in particular, I've pre-made some little decorations just to save time. So on the front, I have stacked up lots of height already in that. So I'm going to place that directly in the middle. Now with these embellishments, these hearts move and expand as you're using them. So I just put the glue just in the center and then pop that on there. And then similarly, just a little bit in the center here. You don't need too much glue. Popping that. I find it's best to make sure you're going on top of your existing elements. Sorry, I'm just declogging that glue again. It's been temperamental today. There we go. Coming back and popping that there. This glue dries in a nanosecond, as you've experienced. And then you will have, sorry, just make sure you've got, sometimes there's those raised bits there that don't get the glue on them. So there we go. And that's your pockets finished. It's as simple as that. Simple heart shapes. Take some time to cut them and then pop them together. So let's do a little walkthrough of the stuffing exercise. So this is another pocket that I've brought together, a much darker color range, obviously. Also another one of those from my Secret Cupid. And so same process used to bring this one together. And it's got the 3 pockets, just like the other one. Obviously the embellishments are different because I was just using what I had. So these are the KS Craft Rick Rack borders that I used to make those. And then the little bag toppers were with the generic bag topper. I've not really bought any of their dies before, so this was the first time run through for me. And I'm very pleased with the quality and the fact that they only use their own licensed products, which I think is important. So if you give that a bit of a fold and start there is where I like to start, with the height in your back pocket, and just shimmy that down as far as it will go into there, and then you've stabilized your pocket and it's all about filling it up. So we've got some sequins, different sequin mix that time, just to match the papers. Had fun putting those together. I have so many sequins. I think we had a Mars bar in the top, some pencils, a nice bow, and then I made a letter opener. Now, when I made this for the Secret Cupid swap in the video, I called it an envelope maker. I was obviously feeling it that day. So I made silver, nice bow at the top, a couple of beads, and then this really cute envelope maker. So that's going in there as well. Let's pop that in there. And then we get down to the scissors that I made a little topper for in pocket number 2. I think we'll put the pin in pocket number 2 as well. And then let's pop that one, another little bag topper there. Check out that panda, people, into here. And then this little bag topper with the forever on it can go in that front pocket there. And then we've got some little sweets. One in there, and maybe another one just in the back there. And there you go, you've loaded up your pocket. Looks great from every angle, in my humble opinion. And I have some things ready to stack the next pocket. I'll just let it dry a little bit more. Another one of those letter openers, a customized pink mix. This one, I had one more of these heart straws that I've been using. So I had a pencil and some heart straws, the Mars bar and the love notes, and a girl power pin, and then a couple of little bag toppers with the range that I used for this one, which was much more bright pink in its forwardness. Fun bringing these together and raiding my stash. And I'm going to really enjoy putting these out in the world tomorrow so that they get to their recipients in time for Valentine's Day. Great to have 3 more things ticked off on my 80 Things project. There are still a few spots left, so if you know somebody who would like a rack, please let me know and I'll add them to the list. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope you've learnt something new or triggered some memory on something that you've done in the past, and that you're enjoying all of your creative endeavours. Have a great rest of the weekend, everybody. Enjoy.